Michelle Carrillo, and I'm going to be talking about how to help our teenagers become Christians. The first thing I think of is we have got to be what we expect our kids to be, what we want them to be. And that means loving God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our strength, and with all our mind, that we are the real thing, that we really guard our relationship with God, that we look at the scriptures, apply them to our lives, that we live our Christianity before our kids and really help them to know God through who we are. The next thing I think of is really prioritizing their spiritual well-being. You know, I see a lot of people, a lot of friends who they prioritize sports, or they prioritize school, they prioritize a lot of things, but they're not prioritizing their spiritual well-being. And this has got to be something that's on our heart, on our mind, on our soul, in our prayers and our conversations, that we're really getting as much input and help as we can to help our kids spiritually, that we really do the best we can. But it does get a little tricky because we can't be worrying about it. We can't give way to worry. We really need to be faithful and hopeful and prayerful about it. Really put our hearts into it without being anxious, nitpicky, micromanaging, but really focused on helping them spiritually. You know, one thing one of my kids said to me is, you know, when you share, Mom, share that parents don't have to be perfect. But, you know, he said that when he became a Christian, one of the things that helped him was to know, at first he thought he had to be perfect to become a Christian. And then he thought, wait a second, my parents aren't perfect, my sisters aren't perfect, but they do repent, they do change. And that's very important, that we model that we help our kids understand that being a Christian isn't being perfect, but it is repenting. It is seeing our lives and saying we're sorry when we need to, living that out before them. The next thing I thought of was we really need to be praying with our kids and reading the Bible with our kids. You know, 2 of our kids loved reading the Bible, and they loved praying, and they never gave us a hard time about it. One of our kids wasn't so excited about it, and my first thought was, oh my gosh, they're not going to love God, they're not going to, you know, become a Christian. And I really had to surrender that fear to God and be confident that no, they can become a Christian and will become a Christian, and don't panic, and especially don't let him think I'm panicking about it. The next thing is we need to stay connected with our kids. You know, they're always changing, they're growing, we're busy, and it is really easy not to be connected with our kids, to be so concerned about other things and other people and miss the fact that we have our own children in our house. We have to be connected to them. And you know, when they're little, we pretty much expect them to obey what we say, and of course that doesn't stop. But when they're teenagers, we really want to be an influence in their life and help them to learn to think through things and how to think about things and have that relationship with them. And then the last thing is, the goal isn't baptism. The goal is get our kids to heaven. That is my heart, that is my prayer, and that means that when they're baptized, the job's not done. I mean, we have 3 kids, but they're not to heaven yet. And that is my goal, that is my heart, that they see God's face, that they are with Him, that they live forever with Him. And so, you know, don't be tempted after your kids are baptized or you're feeling pretty good about them to think that they don't need your input anymore. They need you, and they will need you. And it's very easy to give in to the temptation of wanting life easy. And sometimes we can get that kind of frustrated feeling with our kids, like, why are you making my life so difficult? But it's so important that we are willing to lay down our lives for our kids on a daily basis, every day, until we die. We're going to give our best to help our kids get to heaven and to love them and to believe in them and to have hope for them.